Hey everyone, my name is Hunter Bruce, and I'm going to give you a rundown on a webinar I attended from the Georgia Department of Education. It's a Take 30 information you can use. Trace McGuire, who is the Program Specialist for Health and Physical Education, invited Brian DeVore from Open to talk about the virtual education of students due to the outbreak of the coronavirus. The presenter of this webinar was Brian DeVore. Brian is an Open national trainer and their professional development manager. He was a physical education teacher for nearly 30 years in Georgia, where he taught in Cobb, Paulding, and Fulton County. He has also won the Georgia Aford Middle School PE Teacher of the Year award, in addition to the Georgia Aford Elementary PE Teacher of the Year award. Brian is also a former president of Georgia Aford. Upon his retirement, he went full-time with Open, and he has been there ever since.
All right, so what is Open? Open is an online physical education network that provides resources to physical education teachers for free. The only thing they ask is that you register your information with them. The resources they offer are fantastic, and if you've never been to Open's website, I highly recommend it. Also, all of the resources you will find are also aligned with the Georgia Standards of Excellence and NASB standards, so make sure you check those out. So to get to Open, what you're going to do once you open up your internet browser is you want to go to openphysed.org. And when you get there, this is what their homepage is going to look like. Like I said, at the top in the yellow, you can register for free. But the main thing that we really want to look at is when Brian is talking about the virtual learning resources. And that is under the tab to the far left that is called Active Home, which is this tab right here. Once you click this tab, it will take you to multiple resources for being able to teach our students from a virtual platform. So this section that has all the virtual teaching resources in it is called Active Home. And as we know, students are supposed to be getting 60 minutes of physical activity a day. Due to the outbreak of the coronavirus, we're not sure that students are getting these minutes of activity because for many of them, this time period is met through their physical education classes at school. So what Open did was they made it easier for educators to get resources into the homes of our students and their families to make sure these kids and their families are up and moving and they're active. And now we're going to check out some of these resources. So these are just a few of the resources that Open has under the Active Home tab. And you can see this list right here. These are actually a list of videos that are geared towards high school age students. And they really try to focus on the SEL component, which is social and emotional learning. This series of videos is called Varsity Brands Believe in You. And they actually have a spokesperson by the name of Kevin Atlas, who was a basketball player. And the main focus that Brian DeVore talks about in these videos is overcoming obstacles and situations that these students may face. And the spokesperson, Kevin Atlas, he was a basketball player that played on a professional level internationally. But the thing that sets Kevin apart is he actually only has one arm. So this obstacle was something that Kevin he didn't ask for, but he had to overcome. And the way he reacted was what made the situation really work for him. So the big message that they present to a lot of these high school age students is the coronavirus, this has robbed you of a lot of experiences in your spring semester. You may not get to finish your athletic season or your prom, or you may not get to see your friends for the last bit of high school, but you didn't ask for it. You didn't ask for this pandemic, but it talks about what they do, how they react, the choices they make, how they choose to overcome this is what's going to define them. And it's just a really valuable lesson for students at that high school level, I think, to really hear and grasp that the way you react to any situation is really going to make or break how you respond to it. Here are some more of the virtual resources that Open has under that Active Home tab. On the left-hand side, you can see there's something called 20 Seconds or More with Hip Hop Public Health. What these resources are actually songs and PDFs talking about hand washing. Given the current situation with the coronavirus, it's so important to teach our students about keeping themselves safe and germ-free during this pandemic. And the rapper Dougie Fresh, and along with several other recording artists, actually put together a song to help our students get through this. As you can see from the links, they have stuff from Tabata routines to dance activities to brainstorming cards. Anything interactive like this is huge to help encourage our students and educate them on how to stay safe during this pandemic. And as you're going to see in just a little bit, how to stay active. If we continue looking at these resources, the activities on the right-hand side of the screen are designed for social distancing activities and physical education at home. Like I said, we want to keep these kids up and moving. Even though we are not physically with our students in our schools, we want them to still continue to move. We want them to still continue to learn. So what you're going to see on the top section under activities designed for social distancing, these are different games and activities that students can do at home, because we don't want our students sitting in front of a television, in front of their PlayStation or Xbox all day long. We want them to be active, and this is a great way to get the family involved. Then if you continue looking down at the lower section for physical education at home, we actually have logs where students can log their physical activity. And there's actually an English and Spanish version, which is huge because there is a huge population of students that do speak Spanish. So it's important that we cater to their needs. And then as you see at the bottom, there's even a link with a PDF for students who have special needs where their family can help them out in these situations. So on the next slide, we're going to take a look at one of these activities. So one of the activities under the activities for social distancing is this Tabata fitness station. Basically what the students do is, if you're not familiar with Tabata, it's a great exercise routine where students perform an activity for probably 20 or 30 seconds. Then they get about a 10 to 15-second break in between. So it's very high intensity. One thing that they're going to do here in this example is the rounds that they have of Tabata jacks, Tabata planks, and Tabata legs. So they each focus on a muscle group. And if you look at them, each exercise, if we look at the Tabata jacks, jumping jacks has a video. So if the student doesn't know what they're doing, they have a representation or a visual example for them to understand. So they're going to perform each exercise for 30 seconds and then get a 10-second break, and then move on to the next exercise, half jacks, 30 seconds, 10-second break. After students can complete all of these actually mesh up together in a routine. So as the students progress through these, they can have a routine that includes Tabata jacks, Tabata planks, and Tabata legs all mixed out. Or if they want to focus on one muscle group, they have each of these cards placed out for them. It's a great exercise to get their heart rate up. It's a great exercise for them to build up their muscle endurance, and just overall great practice for them, that they can do this with their friends or family. But since we are social distancing, this is a great way to get some exercise in while these students are at home. As we continue along looking at the resources we have for students at home during this pandemic, one thing that we want to talk about is the section called Active Fun for Families. You know, when we are in our physical education setting at school, we have a gym and an equipment room filled with thousands of dollars of pieces of equipment that families do not have access to, and we are lucky to have them as a school and as a physical education program. So one thing we really wanted to focus on was, what pieces do students have at home? They're probably going to have a jump rope. They're probably going to have a deck of cards. They might have a basketball. They're going to have something that they can use. So as you look at some of these activities, such as dance party, jump rope rhymes, fitness uno, locomotor shapes, soccer croquet, these are all things that students can participate in and utilize with the equipment given at home. They don't have to worry about going out and finding something or buying equipment to do these. These are activities planned in mind with, hey, mom and dad probably have a jump rope at home. This would be a great idea. We're not going to go out and give a lacrosse lesson to students because most students don't have lacrosse equipment laying around their house. The next major component that Brian was super thrilled to share with us, that Open has provided physical education content packets, and these are for every level. So right here, this is K through 2 and 3 through 5 packets, and these packets are the complete addition of everything you would want in a curriculum that you would see anything that you were teaching at school. So on the next slide, we're going to take a look at one of these. Now, as you open up this K through 2 content pack, you can see that this calendar has every day of the week planned out just like a typical lesson or unit plan would. It has everything you need to know, and for that student to see what they're doing. Concept of focus, academic language, warm up, the open activity, fitness activities, mindfulness, and even an assessment. The assessment is a 2-week activity log where the students can track how much physical activity they've gained over the course of 2 weeks. And remember, the goal is for 60 minutes of MVPA. Now, if you look at the activity, this is the bulk of the lesson. It says complete part 1 for day 1. So part 1, if you look on the right, involves beanbags. Students are going to be working on locomotor movements,
tossing and catching, and then ending with a stretching segment. Okay, these are perfect for students to utilize at home. These are all standard-based activities, and they are meeting psychomotor, cognitive, and affective learning objectives. One last thing to know about these content packets is if you download the packets as a Word document, you can actually go in and edit or modify the lessons in any way to help fit your students. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is the DEAM calendar. This means drop everything and move. So with our students being at home and not in school due to the pandemic, the guys at Open have decided to make a calendar. Basically every day of the month there is an activity for our students to do. For example, each day of the month has a different DEAM activity associated with it. So if today was June 2nd, the activity would be do as many curl-ups as you can. So the students would be working on abdominal endurance, and this is great because it's a fun way to get families involved with the students and help them get activities that help lead them towards a healthier lifestyle. Now, we have looked at multiple resources that Open has provided to physical educators since the pandemic has sent our students into a digital learning platform, and we're not able to see our students face to face. So make sure you definitely check out openphysed.org to take advantage of these amazing resources to help our students stay active and make sure that the learning doesn't stop just because they're at home. The next thing we're going to talk about is regular face-to-face resources that can be implemented when we do get back face-to-face with our students in our gyms. If you go to the top of the Open website at Curriculum Resources, you will see that there are over 50 curriculum models for K through 12 physical education. If you see the screen now, you have K through 2, 3 through 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12. Make sure you click on these and investigate each and every one of them. And these are NASP and GSE standard approved curriculum models. The last piece of the webinar that Brian really wanted to push to us is the fact that Open is a great way to continuing professional development. Okay, if you go to the top of their website, right next to curriculum resources, there is a tab that says professional development. Open provides a multitude of online resources ranging from curriculum and instruction, Fitnessgram, multiple different things that physical educators can benefit from. So make sure that if you're in need of further professional development, you can go to Open and use some of their online resources. On top of that, their speakers such as Brian also speak at events such as Georgia AFERD and Shape America conferences. So be on the lookout when they are out in the public giving those speeches. All right, so as we tend to wrap up this review on the webinar, I just want to give 2 thumbs up to Open as they have really come in and helped so many teachers given this unprecedented time in education. This pandemic with the coronavirus is something that nobody could have ever expected would have put the schools out so early, and we still had to teach with 6, 7, 8 weeks left, and this was new ground for educators, this was new ground for students, but through the help of people like Open, they made it a lot easier to confront the challenge that we faced and help make sure that our students were still active, they were still learning, and they were not just sitting at home doing nothing. The big thing that Brian really pushed across the whole thing was, we are here for each other as physical education teachers. There are so many resources out there through people, through our professional learning committees, through our districts, through Georgia AFERD, through SHAPE, through organizations such as Open, and we have to be looking and spreading the news to one another. So, like I said, if you have not checked out Open before, they have a ton of fabulous resources for this digital learning platform that we're currently on. If we have to go back to school in the fall in a digital learning platform, please make sure you take the time to check out Open because they are fabulous resources that are going to do nothing but help you face the challenges of educating our students through a digital platform, and our students are going to thrive because of it. When we do get back to those face-to-face meeting with our students, please continue to check out Open as they have valuable resources and professional development. Professional development is the key to growing in our content knowledge and pedagogical practices as teachers. Open has all of these resources. So overall, Open is a fantastic resource to physical education teachers everywhere. Make sure you check them out. Brian did a great job of presenting all of this to all the Georgia educators who were on, and big thanks and huge shout out to Trace McGuire for getting Brian to come in and talk to us about this. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. Hope you have a little bit more insight about Open and how beneficial they are, and hope you guys have a great day.